Alright, so we're checking out the EVERCROSS H7 electric scooter in this video. So as you can see, this one comes with a seat, and you can remove that if you don't want the seat on there, if you just want to use it as a stand-up scooter. However, I actually like these sort of seat scooters, so I left it on there. You can just take off the mounted seat with some just 4 bolts on the deck there. It's pretty easy to do. It's a nice looking scooter here, fairly high end, not super high end. I would say there's definitely some more high end scooters out there on the market for sure for a lot more money, but for the price I think that it's a pretty good value. Check the link in the description. The price varies as time goes on, coupon codes, etc. But for the specs, which I'll cover here in a second, definitely worth the money compared to a lot of other scooters out there. But let's get right into it. First off, it's got an 800 watt rear hub motor down here in the back, 48 volt system, and the battery is 15 amp hours or 720 watt hours, giving you a estimated range of about 28 miles. Obviously on throttle only, there's no pedaling on this one, and top speed of 28 miles per hour. Now the top speed is limited. It's speed limited electronically. There's a way to unlock it, and it's on the product page if you go to the bottom half of if you should so desire to unlock it, then you can go over to that link and follow the instructions to unlock it. So this does fold down, of course, and there's a red latch there and a safety pin on the other side to unlock the scooter and fold down the main handle. You can also fold down the seat here as well, so you can adjust the seat height over here on this lever, and then on this bottom lever right here you can unlock that and fold the seat down. Now they do show that you can take the seat out and then fold it down. You can ride it, and you can actually ride it stand up that way, or you can just turn the seat sideways and it'll fold down as well, and then you can fold down the handle. The handlebar height is adjustable here on this lever here, so just loosen that, and then you can raise and lower this. So if you want to ride it standing up, you can raise that up. And there's a fair amount of slack here with the cables. Pretty decent wire management here. Obviously there's a bunch of zip ties and such. Not too bad, but it could be a little bit cleaner, and I think it's probably the best they could do given all the equipment that's on the handlebars. So the scooter did come pretty much fully assembled. The only thing that I had to install was the front headlight there, and just there's a small bolt right here, and you have to plug it into this cable here. It does come with lots of suspension here on the front and on the rear. So you got these dual shocks here on the front on both sides. So there's 4 in the front, and then you have these dual shocks here on the rear. They are adjustable in terms of the amount of suspension you want. It is fairly stiff, so you can loosen that up if you are on pretty rough terrain. This does also come with a seat post suspension here as well, and this is fairly loose compared to the tension on the suspension on the wheels. So most of the bumps are absorbed by the seat post suspension. So and you can adjust that as well. So there are mechanical disc brakes here on the front and the rear, and they do work fairly well, although for this kind of a high-speed scooter, I think hydraulic disc brakes would be better, but I think they did that to sort of keep the cost down. Over here you have 2 charging ports, and the little doors kind of swivel out of the way like this, and if you want to get double the charging speed or reduce the charging time in half, you can buy an extra charger. It only comes with one, but you can buy an extra charger, connect them both up, and charge up the scooter in half the time. Alright, so let's take a look at the handlebar and the controls, turning the scooter on and off, etc. The handlebars do fold down. You just have to pull on these little I'm not sure exactly what you would call these. The locking mechanisms. You pull these to the side. Alright, so you're going to pull these little locking mechanisms out, and then the handlebar will collapse, so that'll make the scooter smaller, and then just to snap into place, this locks into place here, and yeah, then the handlebar is secured once this is locked into place. To turn the scooter on, you have to put the key in, turn it to the right, and then you have to long press the power button. And this screen is not very readable in sunlight. So when I do the speed test, I'll have to read that off to you. But there's basically 3 speeds. It's in level 3 right now. You press the M button to go to from speed 1, 2, or 3. Short presses for those. Get your display in miles per hour here. Trip odometer over here, and then your battery gauge over here. Here's your on-off button for the headlight. Turn that on and off here, and then you have your horn button down here. So when you turn on the headlights, you get a rear brake light there. You get some flashing lights here in the rear. Get a solid light here in the front, like this for visibility, and of course the main headlight here. And you can adjust the angle up and down like so. There are some LEDs here on the side. To turn on these LEDs, you long press the M button while the headlights are on, and you get the colorful LEDs, and they're on both sides. They're not programmable, so the lighting programming is just what it is. Unfortunately, you can't adjust that. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this out for a ride, and I'll give you my thoughts as we're riding along. Okay, so one thing that I do want to point out here is the distance between the seat and the handlebar. It's fairly close, at least for me. I kind of want to reach out a little bit further. So the NV S6 scooter with their seat was a little further back, and I felt a little more comfortable. It's not terrible, but I just feel a little bit cramped here. I think they did this because there's I guess a foot mount in the back here. If you're standing up, then some people will rest their foot on there, and so that pushes the seat mount a little bit more forward than I think would be good for, I guess, taller people like me with longer arms. But if you're a shorter rider with shorter arms, this is probably going to be better for you. Anyways, let's go ahead and start off in I guess gear 1, or the lowest speed. There's 3 of them. This is a trigger throttle here, and I'm going to be on some sidewalks here, so we'll feel some bumps and you'll hear some noises from the sidewalk and the suspension. All right, let's go. And it's a little overcast now, so I can see the screen a little bit better now. And in the first gear, speed 1, I'm gently coming up to about 8 miles per hour, so it's nice and slow and steady. Let's turn around. All right, so let's hit level 2 and see how fast we go. So I can just hold it with just one finger here. So going over these little cracks in the sidewalk, not much noise at all. You know, these 10-inch wheels don't have any air in them, so all of the noise or the roughness is being absorbed by the suspension, which is pretty good. And I am now up to about 18 miles per hour on level 2. All right, let's bump it up to level 3. See how fast it can go. It is speed limited, so I think it's probably only going to go to about 20, I think. Got some more bumps here. Got a lot of bumps. You can hear those pretty good. And so I'm hitting about 19 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. And it's 21. Building up, it's going back to 20, so that's what I thought. About 20 miles an hour, speed limited. you can unlock that. And again, as I mentioned, go to the product page, and there's a video towards the bottom where you can unlock the scooter, so it'll hit the maximum speed. But of course, the maximum speed is going to depend on your weight. So I'm a pretty heavy rider, over 200 pounds, 6 feet tall. I typically, when they advertise about 28 miles an hour, on something like this with an 800 watt motor, I can get about up to about 24, 25 miles an hour typically on an 800 watt motor. So that all seems about right. 48 volt system. So it's got plenty of power. You know, in terms of like going up hills and stuff, they advertise about 15 to 20 degrees. That sounds about right. This feels, in terms of the torque and the power, about the same. About an 800 watt motor seems about right to me. All right, let's see how this does going over some grass here. I build some speed. Some pretty thick grass here. And I'm slowing down. It's definitely not maintaining its maximum speed. But I wouldn't recommend something like this with some small 10-inch wheels to go into some off-roading, like for something like this. All right, so here's some footage of me using this as a stand-up scooter. So I just folded the seat forward like this, and I'm gonna stand here in the back, and then I raised up the handlebar. See how this feels. It's gonna be a little bit tricky. Seat post is kind of in the way. Let's see here. So it's definitely doable. I would recommend getting rid of the seat post, of course. You just use the 4 bolts and remove it from the deck. But yeah, if you want to, I guess if you're tired of sitting and you want to stand up, it definitely does work. Yeah, it's fine. I guess I can feel the suspension here without the seat post. Yeah, the suspension is a bit on the stiff side. So most of the shocks are absorbed, at least for me, by the seat post suspension. So I suppose you could loosen up. They are adjustable, so you can loosen up the shocks. I think mainly the ones in the front are the ones that are really stiff. There's 4 of them, so you can loosen those up a little bit. And then, yeah, I think that's probably where the most benefit will come, is loosening up those 4 in the front. And then, yeah, the seat itself, I'm not a big fan of the seat itself. It's a little, even though it's got a nice suspension, I'm not sure what it is, at least for me. I think it might be the shape. It's a little, I don't know, it's a little bit too soft in the back part. So I just feel like I'm kind of sinking. I don't know, it's hard to describe. It doesn't feel comfortable, at least for me, at least this particular seat. But obviously you can change the seat post for a different suspension feel, or you can even go with a different seat altogether. Those are not, high cost items or anything like that. Yeah, overall though, I think this is a very nice scooter. It's definitely faster, or has better acceleration than the S6 that I reviewed a few weeks back. And of course, it has a more powerful motor. I don't recommend this for off-roading. Make it stick to some streets, sidewalks, mainly smooth surfaces. I think you're going to enjoy this more. Of course, it folds up nice and compact. Put it into your trunk, and you can take this on a train, a bus, etc. Not too heavy, although with a large battery and big motor and everything, it is a little bit on the heavier side. But that's the sort of the price you pay for having more range and more power. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Got any questions, let me know. Talk to you guys in the next one.